Mending Walls by Robert Ross. Question answers B1. Something there is that doesn't love a wall that sends the frozen ground swell under it and spills the upper boulders in the sun and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. Now, based on it, the A, B, C questions are: what does something do to the walls? B, what does the poet say something there is instead of being clear about who is destroying the wall? And C, what happens when the frozen ground swells and what happens as a result? Answer B1. B1A. Something causes the frozen ground in winter and the hot sun in summer to make gaps in the wall. Then B1B. It is probably just the wear and tear and elements of nature that destroy the wall, hence, the poet does not pinpoint to what is causing the destruction of the wall. B1C. When the frozen ground swells, it causes the boulders that make up the wall wobbly and shaky. Some boulders are bound to fall or move out of place, thus creating gaps in the wall, some even large enough to let two people walking alongside each other pass through. Question number 2. No one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time we find them there. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line and set the wall once again. Based on it, A. What has no one made or heard them made? B. Where does the poet's neighbor live? What do they do during springtime? C. Do you think the poet is happy to set the wall once again? Give reasons for your answer. B2A. No one has seen or heard the gaps in the wall being made. B2B. The poet's neighbor lives beyond the hill. During the springtime, they mend the wall between their properties. B2C. The poet is not happy to set the wall between us once again, as he later goes on to say that there are no cows to trespass and his apple trees not go across to eat his neighbor's pine cones. Therefore, this annual spring ritual of mending the wall is not necessary. B3. He's all pine and I'm apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines, I tell him. Based on it, A. Who has a pine orchard and who has an apple orchard? B. Why does the poet say that his apples would not eat his pine cones? C. What does the poet want his neighbor to do? Is the neighbor happy to oblige? B3A. The poet has an apple orchard and his neighbor has a pine orchard. B3B. The poet says that his apples would not eat his neighbor's pine cones to stress on the fact that there is no need for a wall between the two orchards. B3C. The poet wants his neighbor to accept that there is no need for a wall between their orchards. His neighbor is not convinced and does not oblige, but says, good fences make good neighbors. B4. In each hand, like an old stone savage armed, he moves in darkness as it seems to me, not of woods only and the shade of trees. He will not go behind his father's saying, and he likes having though of it so well. He says again, good fences make good neighbors. Based on it, A. Who is like an old stone savage? B. Why does the poet use negative images like savage and darkness in these lines? C. Why do you think the poet's neighbor hides behind the tradition of his father's saying, good fences make good neighbors? Answer B4A. The poet's neighbor is like a savage of the Stone Age. B4B, the poet uses negative images like savage and darkness to show that his neighbor's insistence on having the wall shows that he has not come out of the darkness of mistrust and the blind continuation of age old practices, regardless of whether they are required in the present scenario or not. B4C, the neighbor does not want to break away from the practices that were carried on by his father, while he does not want to appear as stagnating despite fleeting time by living in his father's shadow. He just reasons out that the wall should be there as good fences make good neighbors. That's it.